All right, here we go. Radio Disney Now podcast, uncut for the week of March 27th.
Radio Disney Now podcast, uncut.
Okay, people, stand by. 30 seconds to upload.
Mic test, please.
Sweet, man.
And then
so what
also-
you been up to?
It's hot.
Got it.
Sounds good.
Sounds awesome.
Stand by to roll theme. Mark the slate.
This is Radio Disney Now podcast, uncut.
Roll up the theme music. And we are online. Stand by to pre-promote prizing. Cue 'em.
Listen to Radio Disney this week to find out how you could meet the Jonas Brothers. Plus, go to a concert. The Jonas Brothers and you. All the details now at Radio Disney.
All right, cue standard open.
This is Radio Disney Now podcast, uncut with the Jonas Brothers.
When's the last time you guys were actually in a public school before, you had to do the whole rock band thing?
Yeah, this is Kevin. Inside a public school, I
Or
did
not public, but just when's the
in
last time you
school?
were in school? Yeah.
I left school sophomore year to be homeschooled of high school.
Which was how many years ago?
Wow. You're 19 now, so
4 years ago.
4 years, like 3-4 years ago. For me, this is Joe. For me, I left when I was going into the 7th grade, and I am a junior now. So I think it was a while back, but it
4
was
years, yeah.
4 years, and I think some people ask me, "Do you miss it?" And I'm like, "Well, I love what we're doing right now, but I definitely there's always that you miss like having very close friends that you see every single day, going into school, and there's other times where you're like, it's kind of cool because you make friends all around the country because you're traveling all over the place. So I guess it works both ways.
Radio Disney Now podcast, uncut with the Jonas Brothers.
How often do you actually go back to see like your old teachers and all that?
I actually went back. This is me, Joe. I went back to my elementary school, and this was a little while back. And I always had this teacher that I would go to like during English. I wasn't very good at English. I would always go to her, and math and probably other subjects in the world, but probably gym too. But it was kind of cool because she didn't recognize me right away, and she was an older lady, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" She was kind of like, hi, And I gave her a hug, and she kind of freaked out. She didn't know who I was, and I was like, I was older than all the other little kids. And then I explained I was in your class about a few years, and then she freaked out. She was like, "Oh, I still have all your papers. Look." I'm like, "Oh, cool. F." No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm a AAA student.
Triple A.
Yeah. No, so this is Kevin. I recently saw one of my teachers in Starbucks, and he didn't recognize me either, which was really funny. So I started talking to him as if he would remember me, and he said, in the middle of my conversation, he asked me, "I'm sorry, who are you?" And I was like, I was in your class. I'm Kevin Jonas, and he's like, "Oh, the whole thing." It was just really funny to realize, oh, I thought you would remember me.
Radio Disney Now podcast, uncut with the Jonas Brothers.
Is your younger brother, what's his name again?
Frankie.
Frankie. What is Frankie thinking about that, like possibly doing this or what?
He's been telling us now that he's maybe thinking about being in our band, but only if we give him Pokemon cards. So that's kind of like his trade. We give him something to be in the band, but he's still not sure if he wants to do it yet.
Yeah.
He's got his own band.
Yeah.
He has his own.
Yeah, Rock Slap. That's the name of the band.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet. They're pretty amazing. I have all 8 albums.
And 8 albums already.
Greatest hits,
and the
volume
greatest
1,
hits.
2, and 3. And the B-sides, and their 3 Christmas albums they released at the same time.
Wow.
And the St. Patrick's Day exclusive album.
They're not lacking material then.
No. I'm a big fan. I collect all the merchandise, the cereal boxes, the keychains, the glow-in-the-dark navigation system.
Now, are they really serious about like trying to get signed and stuff, or are they just kind of horsing around?
I think by the time Frankie's like 7, he'll be signed to like 3 different labels at once. Yeah.
What kind of advice are you gonna be able to give them as older brothers who've already gone through this?
I bet Frankie he's like little Yoda. He has like all the advice in the world.
He's like little Yoda. We're getting advice
He's
from
like,
him.
"Joe, you not do," and that's my really bad Yoda impression. Yeah, no, Frankie's sometimes, I think, smarter than all of us.
Well,
Totally.
Radio Disney Now podcast, uncut with the Jonas Brothers.
There's nothing that you would go back and and say, "Oh, you got to watch out for this," or "You should really do this," or you know.
I think definitely we'd be like, "Hey, Frankie." I would definitely tell him, this is Kevin. I would just definitely tell him to keep practicing and do stuff like that, because like the minute you put down a guitar for, or you put down that instrument, you lose part of what you're doing, and you just got to pick it back up and keep practicing.
One of the best pieces of advice we ever got was live like you're at the bottom, even if you're at the top. So it's all about staying humble and making sure you know where you're from and not getting a big head about everything. So that's the most important thing.
This is Joe, and I'd say learn from the mistakes of the people that you love, so you don't make the same ones.
That is good advice.
The people that you admire.
And that's kind of like, your mom knows because she's been through it. Listen to your mom, and then you don't, and you end up making the same mistake anyway.
Exactly. Your parents usually know what's going on, and they're good at things like that. So just listen to them.
That wraps Radio Disney Now podcast Uncut. Roll theme.
Theme up.
Cue announcer.
This has been Radio Disney Now Podcast Uncut with the Jonas Brothers.
Stand by for promo slates. Cue.
For more Uncut, click on podcast at radiodisney.com.
Announce tune in. Cue.
For more of your music your way, check out Radio Disney on the air. Click on My Station at radiodisney.com.
Okay, people, we are out in 10. Final pass.
Radio Disney Now Podcast Uncut, when you need to know it all.
Out in 5.
Keep announcer mic up. Kill mains.
Giving you your music your way from your artist. Radio Disney Now Podcast Uncut.